A mass shooting took place in downtown Sacramento, California yesterday, and already Joe Biden calls for more gun control. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another Declaration of Truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. In this video, we're going to look at what we know about what happened in Sacramento, California yesterday, what we do not know, why the president's gun control recommendations are as predictable as they are useless, and stick with me to the end where I will tell you what the real problem is. Now, before we get into this any deeper, I want to shout out to the sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down to the bottom for that link. Lots of good merchandise there, including, this week, a bookshelf where you can buy books that explore conservative philosophy in depth, and even original novels, starting with some by yours truly. In fact, I'll have one out tomorrow. All right, people, there's plenty to see here, so be seated and pay attention. Reports about the Sacramento shooting are already coming in. You have the Los Angeles Times, KCRA TV Channel 3 Sacramento, NBC News, CNN, NPR, the New York Times, and the Daily Mail. As of this hour, this incident has resulted in 6 deaths and 12 injuries. At least one person started shooting, a second person fired shots, but whether he was firing back at the first or in concert with him, no one seems to have gotten straight. The shootings took place at or near the K Street Mall, a mere blocks from the seat of state government. Some say it started in a bar. Alcohol and guns don't mix. Everybody knows that. The Sacramento police are looking for a rumored video of the shooting. They also say the shooting started at the intersection of 10th and K Streets at 2 a.m. Pacific Time Sunday. Witnesses say a big brawl broke out and then someone started shooting and everyone else ran for their lives. Police have no suspects and are still looking for the shooters. Therefore, they have no motive. Who, after all, just drives up and starts powing at people at random? Whoever did this was after somebody or a type of somebody at that scene. So somebody, maybe the owner of one of the nightclubs there, has guilty knowledge. Bet on it. But why is CNAV talking about something off a police splatter? Because, predictably, our woke president has already teed up an excuse to disarm the people. The Daily Mail has a sidebar of Biden's statement on this affair. Quote, "Today, America once again mourns for another community devastated by gun violence. In a single act in Sacramento, 6 individuals left dead and at least a dozen more injured. Families forever changed. Survivors left to heal wounds both visible and invisible. I want to thank the first responders in Sacramento and all those across the United States who act every day to save lives. We know these lives were not the only lives impacted by gun violence last night, and we equally mourn for those victims and families who do not make national headlines. But we must do more than mourn. We must act. That is why my administration has taken historic executive action to implement my comprehensive gun crime reduction strategy, from standing up to gun trafficking strike forces to helping cities across the country expand community violence interventions and hire more police officers for community policing. We also continue to call on Congress to act. Ban ghost guns, require background checks for all gun sales, ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, repeal gun manufacturers' immunity from liability, pass my budget proposal, which would give cities more of the funding they need to fund the police and fund the crime prevention and intervention strategies that can make our cities safer. These are just a few of the steps Congress urgently needs to take to save lives." Unquote the president. Mr. President, with all due respect, California is the state that needs gun control in the United States today. Sacramento especially has some of the most draconian gun laws in the country, and still At least one guy had a gun and used it to vent his anger on innocent people, which ought to show you, if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. The measures you propose are your usual grab bag of measures to disarm the populace. What is an assault weapon? How many rounds does a magazine have to carry to make reloading in mid-spree a non-problem? And how does it solve the basic problem of a godless society if someone can sue whoever makes a gun for every wrongful death someone causes with a gun? Do you want the same rule for automobiles? Actually, I'm afraid to mention that one. We're sure the president has already thought of it when he jacked up gasoline prices because he thinks American motorists are cooking the planet. And finally, we don't know whether whoever fired the shots really had a genuine beef with any of his targets. For all we do or can know, this was a false flag pseudo operation. We've seen this before. For instance, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, contributor Bradley Dean covered that one in 2 articles. But whether this Sacramento shooting was a false flag pseudo operation or not, the answer is the same. Gun control will not solve anything. Once again, if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns, and they will get them by hook or by crook. The only way to stop the plague of violence in our streets is to return to a proper understanding of moral law and precept. Time was when such things did not happen. When they first started to happen, they always happened in the context of illegal activity, someone trying to cover up that activity, and usually someone else taking away market share in that activity. For example, I give you the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago on 14 February 1929. Then came the decision of the United States Supreme Court in Lemon versus Kurtzman. In that decision, the court totally misconstrued the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. Somehow, respecting an establishment of religion came to mean respecting God as real, as something the Constitution forbids. Well, observe the results. Now go tell the Supreme Court, stranger who passes by those 6 dead bodies in downtown Sacramento, that they lie here obedient to the court's word. With apologies to King Leonidas of Sparta at Thermopylae. But do not think for one moment that gun control is going to solve anything. And don't let tyrants use this event as yet another excuse. Links to the description to the article, which contains links to Bradley Dean's 2 articles about why he believes the mass shooting in Parkland, Florida was a setup. I have another link to the awesome online store, as I mentioned. And if you like what you've heard, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering yet another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free. Goodbye for now. And God bless America.